we're here at Krav Maga Portland with Mark Blank, our premier instructor. And today we're just talking a little bit about Krav Maga, what is it, and why would you want to get involved? So Mark, what is Krav Maga?
Krav Maga is an Israeli self-defense system. It was developed in Israel in the late 1940s and early 1950s. It was basically a military hand-to-hand fighting system. And it's been adapted for civilians now. And it still, of course, includes a lot of the military techniques, but it's just the emphasis and the way we train is to deal with modern day violence that civilians will normally experience. And it's an easy to learn system because it's based on instincts and reflexes, so it's very natural to people. The movements are very natural.
Woo!
Yes! You're able to defend against a much larger and more powerful attacker because we use basically leverage and positioning. Just your position in relation to the attacker, how you stand, and using leverage instead of strength. So a smaller woman, for example, can defeat a much larger attacker. And in addition to those 2 points, there's striking. Okay, we're going to strike really hard and really fast and repeatedly to very vulnerable targets. So the eyes, the throat, the groin, the knees are the primary targets. There's a lot of secondary ones, but basically those are going to do the most damage in the shortest amount of time. And those are targets that no one can really train to make stronger. So you can't really train your eyes to withstand a stab. You can't really train your groin to withstand a kick. These are the targets that a smaller person would be able to get away from the larger person if they are able to hit those. And so in this way, Krav Maga is very good for women and against men. So smaller versus larger attacker, smaller defender versus larger attacker. And it's easy to learn and it's easy to remember because it's very simple. You don't want to have to think about what to do in the heat of the battle. There's no time for that. Under adrenaline stress, you need to react immediately. You need to react very, very aggressively. So that aggressive fighting spirit is another huge thing that we teach people right away to be able to, continue to fight even when the odds are against them. Maybe they're hurt already. Maybe they're disoriented or just, frozen with fear. But we need to break through that and continue to fight aggressively and to strike repeatedly and as hard as we possibly can.
Until the threat is neutralized and then you run, right?
Exactly.
That was my favorite part, actually. Get away.
Yeah. It's not your job to take the person into custody. That's law enforcement. It's not your job to punish them, of course.
So, you may want to.
You may want to, but your job is to get away safely and get home.
Makes sense. I love the mindset portion of that. Of course I do. Mindset is everything, right? Aggressive
Absolutely.
fighting spirit. And how do you train to that?
We do drills in class that will involve multiple attackers, and you'll be involved with one exercise. Maybe you're striking a pad repeatedly, doing a hammer fist strike on a pad, and then all of a sudden you're taken from behind in a bear hug or a choke. And so the sense of disorientation and surprise are things that you need to be, able to fight through. So you need to experience that. You can train a technique in a nice sterile environment and have nice padded floors and take your time and try to get it perfect and all that. But that's not the type of, dynamic, the type of mental and physical dynamic that you need to be able to use that in a real fight for your life situation.
Makes sense.
Do you have to train for years to be able to have that, or you have a seminar coming up October 18th, where it's a women's self-defense seminar, and so it's 3 hours long. Is that somebody
Yes.
takes that? What can they expect to have afterwards?
They're going to learn the basic strikes, the ones that will be most useful and most natural. Good, yeah, nice. And we'll show them how to use their total body, get their total body mass into it by using rotation. For example, an elbow strike would be much stronger if I use my body rotation instead of just using my arm. Nice. So we teach you how to use your total body. In that way, you'll develop much much greater impact power. Nice. Harder. Good. Woo! All right. In the seminar on October 18th, it'll be 3 hours. We'll start with verbal boundaries, so you'll be able to deal with a person who's coming up to you, getting in your face, for example. Maybe, for a woman, maybe saying lewd or,
Mean things.
yeah, mean things. So those are the types of things that the attacker does before he would actually do a physical attack, is to do what they call an interview. They want to see how you react. They want to test you out.
Are you sure? I'm an undercover officer. You need to come with me right now. Come with me.
They would start by just talking to you to try to feel out, what your response might be. Are you a submissive person, or are you already getting a little bit aggressive, or maybe assertive is actually what we should be saying. We don't want to, if we get too aggressive on the other end of the scale, then that'll often be like pouring gasoline on the fire. It makes it worse. So assertiveness is really what we want to teach the women how to, that type of mindset, that type of body language and posture, the assertive posture. And then usually they can talk their way out of a bad situation. If the guy thinks that this woman is going to get in trouble,
He won't bother.
Yeah. So in addition to teaching verbal boundaries and assertive body language, we want to teach the physical techniques. Okay, so they're going to go through a series of drills where they'll go down the line and they'll be striking the pads with using the techniques that we taught them. We'll show them how to use their whole body to get more impact power, and then we'll move into the actual self-defense portion of the seminar, where we'll teach them the techniques, and then we have padded assailants wearing suits of body armor. And the good thing about this is that the women can strike full power, full speed, and not have to worry about hurting their training partner.
Awesome.
So it's very realistic.
So you got it. We're just attacking you after a show.
At the end of the seminar, what we'll do is actually do multiple attackers. The padded assailants will be 2-on-1. First they start defending against one attacker, and then maybe they gain a position of advantage, and then all of a sudden they'll be taken in a headlock or a choke by another attacker. So it's an ongoing series of defenses, and it's amazing what the women can do. The thing is that this type of training is very stressful physiologically. It gets the adrenaline pumping through the bloodstream. And one of the things that scientists have found out is that whatever you learn under adrenaline stress gets retained much better than learning, fighting skills, for example, under the sterile environment of the dojo, for example. So in a 3-hour seminar, the amount of ability that women will gain is just huge. Just because we're able to bring them through all the way from somebody getting in your face and talking them down, being successful with that, and then all the way, if that doesn't work, of course, then they learn the physical skills to be able to defeat the real attackers. And the padded assailants they're about as real as we can get. They look very, very intimidating. They're big padded suits, they've got helmets, and they're very scary. So the women are under adrenaline stress the whole time. At the end of the seminar, they're just shaking. That's just one of the things that adrenaline does to you.
I can see how that would be so much more valuable than just being in great shape, working out, and
Yeah, without any skills. Exactly. I mean, physical fitness is very important for self-defense, but if you don't know the techniques, if you haven't practiced them under physiological stress, they're just not going to be available to you when you're actually attacked. Mentally, you won't be able to remember what to do because you're being so
Scared.
So frozen.
that's October 18th.
October 18th
2 to 5.
from 2 to 5 p.m. at our school in Milwaukee on International Way.
Awesome. We'll see you there.
Then the following weekend, Saturday the 25th, we have a seminar called At the Onset of Violence. And it's going to be presented by our instructor, Black Belt instructor Lynn Schoenfeld. And he is a sergeant with Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. He's got a long history as a law enforcement officer, a long career. And in addition to his Krav Maga training, he's examined the pre-attack indicators that are very common that you can look for in a potential assailant's body language, their demeanor. There's just certain things that can be seen if you know what to look for. And that's a lot about what this lecture is going to be about, to kind of give you the idea of how the timeline goes when somebody comes up to you and you're not certain what their intentions are, whether they're going to be whether they're a threat or whether they're just a neutral person. But if your intuition tells you that something doesn't feel right, you need to go with that. That's really, really important. And women are actually blessed with that, as men unfortunately don't seem to have that level of intuition. So that's one thing you definitely got going for you as women. As far as self-defense goes, you should definitely go with your gut feeling.
So you can remove yourself from the situation before it's escalated.
And that's really important. That's the best case. That's the best outcome. If you can avoid a fight before it happens, that's the best self-defense there really is.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to go over several very basic techniques that you can learn quickly, and they're very effective. Instead of the closed fist, we'll teach a hammer fist, which is using the meat on the side of the hand right here. And we deliver it with the same type of motion that we use if we were throwing a ball. So this kind of motion here with your body rotating is what we're looking for. That'll add all the power. So it's not just made with the arm. We want to turn the whole body into it. And it can be delivered on different angles. You can send it straight forward. You can send it downwards. You can send it to the sides or to the rear. So it's very versatile using this surface. And Sean is going to demonstrate. All right, harder now. Good, yeah, nice. Okay, let's change the angle. So you hold the pad here. So let's say that she attacked with a groin kick and the assailant doubled over. Now we have a target presenting itself, the back of the neck, the base of the skull. So she's going to strike to that target. And harder. Nice. One more. Good, good. Okay, another strike we can send straight ahead is the heel of the palm. Okay, right here. Just like your foot has a heel, the hand has a heel as well. Okay, so we want to bend the wrist backwards. We're going to slightly turn the fingers inward when we strike, and we're going to keep the elbow slightly bent so that we don't hyperextend the elbow. Okay, send that straight ahead. We're going to use the body rotation to get all the impact power that we can. Nice. Harder. Good. Woo! All right. Now, those are fairly long-range, arm's length distance techniques. If we get in really close, then we're going to use the elbows. The elbows can be delivered round to the front, they can go upwards to the front, they come down to the front. There's 7 different elbows that we teach, but there's an infinite number of angles. Those 7 are just points of reference. But the most useful one, the most common one, is going to be the round elbow to the front. And we're going to hit right with the tip of the elbow on the forearm side. You want to make a fist and put your knuckles right in your sternum, so you fold that elbow as tight as you can. And come around with the shoulder rotation and the hip rotation. You can hold that pad vertically now. Strike. There you go. And 2 more. Also, when you get to close range, you're going to use your knees. The groin is the best target to use with the knee. So if you get in really close, if they grab you like this, and then you can just send that knee up the middle, that would be probably something that would make them let go. One more. Good. Good. Okay, and last technique we're going to look at is the groin kick. Now, when we kick, we don't want to think about using the foot. Okay, the foot, what we like to say is the foot is like a ping pong paddle, and the shin is like a baseball bat. Okay, so you can hold it right about groin level out in front. You'll notice that her foot is coming out the other end. Okay, so I need it harder and faster. Nice. Good, one more.
Woo!
Yes!
Nice.
Awesome. Like that.
Haha.
Okay, we're going to do a choke against the wall from the front. This is a situation where you might be kind of standing here and all of a sudden the attacker comes and tries to slam you into the wall. So it doesn't start out as a choke, but they come in and punch their hands into your throat. And their first objective is to just slam you into the wall, possibly knocking you out. So the first thing that we teach the students is to be able to not get knocked out by tucking their chin and fall break on the wall. But then the hands are still there, so the next threat that happens is this will turn into a choke. Okay? So Shauna's going to demonstrate. Good. We want to go slow this time. So you notice that when she's pushed into the wall, first she'll stop the fall break. Good. Now she's going to do a rotational defense. Good. Good. One more time. She's going to raise her left hand straight up, and her right hand is going to go down. So we've got 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock here. Okay? And that left bicep is touching your ear, right? So that puts pressure on Katie's hand and loosens the grip a bit. So when Shauna turns towards me, the grip is gone now. The choke is essentially gone. She's going to drop this elbow to clear the hands and then strike with an elbow strike, and then add more techniques to follow up. Good? Good.
Nice.
See that again.
Yeah, that looked so cool.